operators, different roles, different functions, different silos within organization. How do you see driving accountability across these? Because finally, again, it boils down, is there a culture of accountability? Is your org structure oriented around incentivizing accountability and so on and so forth? But would be great to hear some examples and your thoughts on how do you think accountability can be driven across the organization?
That's a very interesting point, because what typically happens is in large organizations which run a matrix structure, the function can be green and the organization is red, right? And that's a dichotomy that every C-suite faces. Now, one of the when I was reading about it and I looked at this concept of aligned organizations, study by Harvard, what came into mind, and as I read more and more of CEOs who've been successful in driving a single point agenda, the organizations which have stood out, and the inspiration that we take when we implement processes is alignment to a goal. And that's where your standardization comes in. So, for example, Sam Walton says in one of his autobiographies that our singular goal was 13% margin on every product, right? So, from supply chain to accounting to the storefronts to the store manager, everybody is aligned to make a process which will eventually guarantee a 13% margin and nothing more.
Right.
So, when we look at organizations, we tell them, a classic case of the current NBFCs that we are working with. So they are solving for problems of attrition of the frontline loan officer, right? And that classically, when we interviewed the entire organization, including their leadership, they said that's an HR problem. They said, but that's typically is a business problem, because you don't have a loan officer who sells. Said, that's an interesting way to look at it. So the idea is to make the problem an organizational problem, get a C-suite aligned to a singular goal, and that. When I say singular, it doesn't mean single, but typically should not be more than 3. And the entire activity should be aligned to that goal. So everybody has a singular focus. The thing what we try and do in our experience is tell even the support functions, so be it HR, be it accounts, be it supply chain or procurement, etc., that how is it that what you do aligns with the organization end goal of either revenue or cost. It has to tie up with either one of these verticals, and don't get caught up in a functional deliverable alone. And that's how we are able to drive that. So typically our projects are aimed at solving the horizontal problems, in which we are able to take the various verticals together by driving a common thread across. So that's been our experience. So that's where accountability comes in. Also using tools such as yours. What is brilliant is typically, from a pure ERP perspective, or organizations which don't have ERPs or rely on simpler workflows, the visibility of a function stops at a function. So, in HR, visibility will stop at HR and not really know what is the output that a finance takes out of it and what is it that they finally process on. With your workflow, at least at a leadership level, we get visibility across. So what is the output that finance need? Are you overproducing that output, less producing that output? Is it erroneous, not erroneous? So once these synergies come in, a lot of frictional points between the functions break, and that gets around a lot of cooperation going. So, to summarize in a nutshell, what's advocated in design thinking of radical collaboration is actually that we saw coming into effect once we deployed your tool. Once you get actual visibility beyond just a training room is where a lot of synergies come into play.